If you are a real estate professional, you should own 10 properties. And if you own less than 10 properties, you're doing it wrong. My name is Logan Moffett, and I am a big believer in building wealth through real estate. Building wealth, building passive income, building freedom. I want to talk about a few things. The first one is, if you're a real estate professional, what is the limit to the amount of commission you can ask for in a real estate transaction? Well, the answer is there is no limit. You can ask for whatever you want. In 2019, I purchased a property. It came to me off market, and one of the tenants brought it to me. And he said, hey, my cousin owns this house. He inherited it. He wants to sell it. He wants $222,000. That's what he said. Well, what ends up happening is I go to the cousin and I say, hey, do you care what I do with the numbers? And he said, no, I don't care what you do with the numbers. We had an appraisal. The appraisal came in at 250. But he wanted to just sell it and move on. He figured there'd be commissions in there anyways. And he wasn't so worried about the commission. He just wanted to walk away with $222,000. So I said, okay. And I asked for a 13.5% commission. And then I bought it with a 15%. And this is an investment property. So I have credit unions in my area that will do 15% down. So they did 15% down. And what's so interesting about it is I got in the house for about 2% of the price. So about $4,000, $5,000 I got into the house. I did a little rehab job and I rented it out pretty much instantly. I had the top floor and the basement floor rented. And I was pulling in about $2,100 a month, and my mortgage payment was $1,400. So, within a year, I got almost all my money back. And when you look at it, the repairs and the down payment, I'm cash flowing $600, so $7,200 a year. The maintenance was really low on it because they had just replaced the heater before I bought it. And fast forward, this is where real estate gets crazy. Fast forward, a few rent increases here and there, but about 18 months ago, 2 years ago, we had a 4th of July financial independence party. In other words, the neighbor lit off a firework and burnt the house down. Everyone was okay. And I had good insurance on the home, and they rebuilt the house. Not a new home. They took it down to the studs. Turns out when you have a fire, the fire department comes, puts a bunch of holes in the ceiling, drenches it in water, and now water is the issue. So all the drywall in the entire house had to be replaced. All the electrical was replaced. New roof, new soffit, new fascia, all new electrical. Most of the plumbing was replaced. We ran Ethernet, all new flooring, all new appliances. Everything was new. And then we went and re-rented that home. So I owned it 2019. This happened in 2015, and I re-rented it last summer. And today it pulls in $3,150 with the same mortgage. So, if you were to do that 10 times, you wouldn't have to work anymore. Depending on your market, that could be 1 or 2 or 3 transactions. So as a real estate professional, as an agent, if you are looking for these opportunities and you're letting the market continue to improve your properties, you're letting circumstance improve your properties, it puts you in a situation where you have an unfair advantage. The total renovation cost was over $400,000 on that home. And the whole time I got paid the same rent that I was getting paid before because that's what my insurance policy covered. And I'm not telling you guys this because I want you guys to take a risk and have house fires. I'm telling you this because when you are investing in real estate consistently, things will happen, good and bad. And that was a bad, good thing in disguise. And, I think if you do the math on that and you rent 10 homes like that, that would be the equivalent of you making about, let's see, $1,400. Yeah. So you end up making $1,700. So you'd be making $17,000 a month. And you don't need to have 10 homes to replace your income. If your goal is to make $100,000, you may be able to do that with 5 or 6 houses. This is really about achieving financial freedom so you can do what you want, when you want, how you want. I love traveling. My wife and I, for our 10th year wedding anniversary, we went to St. Lucia. She didn't even know where we were going. She let me plan the whole thing. And what was really incredible about it was, it wasn't cheap, but we were able to make it work and pay for it with our rental properties. What kind of career can you build that will do that for you? Being a real estate professional, you have a lot of responsibility, but don't overlook what you really want and what your goal was initially. You're probably like me, and you got in this business because you want to own real estate and you want to own it today for tomorrow.